Hi, this is Shadow Child. We're in my studio on the south coast of the UK, and this is why I love my MIDI Designer app on the iPad. This thing is something that is an app you can get on the App Store, obviously. You can get the light version of it, which lets you do a lot of stuff. But I went in straight in and bought the Pro version, which was I think £12. But what it allows you to do is build your own MIDI controllers for anything you want. Could be for lighting systems, not just music and stuff as well. But I obviously use mine for music. And what I've done, or I should say the reason I bought it, is because I started buying the late 80s, early 90s rack equipment and synths. So not just the analog stuff that you know, I've had for a while and whatever. I was thinking, where can I get some of that real kind of late 80s, early 90s kind of sounds from? And I started looking around on eBay and places like that and buying a couple of synths and stuff from kind of late 80s, early 90s. What I want to show you today is how MIDI Designer on the iPad or iPhone as well will control my JD990. This is a layout for the JD990, which another user of MIDI Designer has shared. So you go to their website and you go on the forums on there, and people have made their own layouts for different bits of kit. So this is the one which has got several pages as well, which controls the JD990. And I'll let you, I suppose, most importantly, hear what it's doing. You've got your four kind of oscillators, if you like, where you can change the waveforms, and you've got all your extra controls and stuff for changing LFOs, filters, everything else, all basically on different pages in here. As far as performing with it, if you were using it to perform with, not something I do, but you would have to make adapt your own layout, where I think it would be all on one page and be a lot easier. But for in the studio and making your own stuff, this is brilliant. So basically, this has got a lot of great pad sounds, a lot of great basses. The pianos are kind of cool if you like pianos on there. If you like the old school piano sound, that's great for that as well. I guess the real reason I wanted it was the pads. I love the old drum and bass, early 90s kind of pad sounds. So I've got this set up through my Mac. You go to the audio MIDI setup on there, and you just basically route from your iPad back out of your MIDI port, whichever device that comes from, and that goes to your JD. Just a regular sort of sound that you might get from there. And I can basically start to go through all the different waveforms that are on there and start to build my own sounds. Some of the best things you can do with this just are like the bass sounds, like kind of low end kind of thing. So there's one of the preset bass sounds, not something I would use personally, but by the time you start stripping things away and changing stuff, it's going to sound pretty great. I haven't tried automating this yet, actually, in Logic, which would be quite interesting. So I'm just going to turn all the levels down apart from one oscillator. So organs, stuff, elements of pads that will be on there, because what we're listening to now is not preset sounds. On there are made up of layers of sounds. So what we're listening to here are the individual waveforms that make up those sounds. So there's some pretty amazing bits and pieces on there. There's a lot of very average stuff as well, to be fair, with the JD. But if you really get stuck into it, there's some quite unique stuff on there.